Allison Janney in an action movie? Where do I sign up? What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Lou is the brand new action thriller on the platform. Today we're going to talk about it, whether it's worth it or not. So thinking she'd put her dangerous past behind her, Lou finds her quiet life interrupted when a desperate mother begs her to save her kidnapped daughter. As a massive storm rages, the two women risk their lives on a rescue mission that will test their limits and expose dark and shocking secrets from their pasts. Starring, of course, Allison Janney and Jurnee Smollett. You also have Logan Marshall Green, and this film is rated R for violence and language, but it's not the most violent and language-filled movie I've ever seen, so it's not necessarily one I'd say don't watch with your family, just not younger kids. This is a dark movie, and I'm talking visually and tonally. It's all about uncovering this past, these secrets between really all three of our main characters, but focusing on our two main characters that are on this journey to get back Jurnee Smollett's daughter. Our young character by the name of V is played by Ridley, Asha, Bateman. Jurnee Smollett plays Hannah, and it's up to our main two characters to follow Logan Marshall Green's Philip, who has come back and taken his daughter. Now, the questions are posed at the beginning of the movie. Why is he taking her? What was the fallout between this couple? How does Lou factor into this equation? All of those questions are thankfully answered, so I didn't walk away from this movie like, oh, what did this mean? What was that supposed to do to us as an audience? But there was a lack of depth with a lot of these backstories, and we get a good amount of these backstories in the third act, right? We explain the relationships, how those relationships have formed, what the fallout was like between everyone, and how it all comes together. Well, very predictable, as at least enthralling and thrilling, and it is action-packed. This is not a movie that pulls any punches, and I thought some of these scenes, especially Allison Janney's character in Lou, the physicality behind these fight scenes, that was impressive to watch, and also just the fact that they stuck to this really dark tone. Even the scenes between this father and his daughter, he obviously had a reason behind why he took her away from his mother, but those scenes do a nice job of building up the mystery surrounding his character and allowing us to see that from her perspective, right? That relationship between mom and dad, it's one that you have to explore in a film like this, and thankfully it is able to do that. Now, while this movie does have a bit going for it, right, some fun action, some intense moments, and the cat and mouse game that they are playing is somewhat entertaining, I mentioned the fact that they don't really give us the depth that we deserve behind these characters, and then the way that everything plays out is kind of the way that you expect it to go from the first 15 minutes. Before we know anything about these characters, I said to myself, okay, that's what's going to happen with them, and here's how it's all going to kind of play out. And while you don't know how things are going to go down, you do kind of foresee the result coming, and that was extremely disappointing. I thought maybe they would switch things up as we were going, or provide a twist here and there, and they're able to do that, but it's something that you immediately know exactly where it's going to go when the movie begins, and thus it makes the third act feel a bit empty. I'm not saying it doesn't provide emotional moments. Anytime you have a mother going after her daughter, you're going to get some really touching and tender moments between the two. But I'm thinking to myself, I've seen this movie before, and I've seen it repackaged in different ways. This time around, the key here is to produce some fun action scenes with Allison Janney, and that absolutely is the case. But I couldn't find any more to latch onto behind the very surface-level plot points that it has going for it. And then Logan Marshall Green's character in Philip, right? There's a lot there with his backstory. And they kind of hit on all of these things at the end, but you don't really know details. You're not able to get the emotion that you need from his character because they don't really explore that relationship like they should. There aren't even the flashbacks needed to kind of push us in that direction. And then the one big reveal that this movie does have going for it, one that I saw coming, I didn't really feel the emotion there. It's going for this big emotional gut punch, and I understand why it's doing that. And it's nice that they at least gave us something like that, but I couldn't really connect to that relationship because, again, I'm going to keep using this phrase with this movie, it's just a really surface level film, and there's not the depth required, there's not the creative writing behind the movie to make it really stand out from a crowded genre, especially on Netflix. I mean, you watch this movie, cinematography, it's fine. Like I said, the action scenes, they're filmed in a way to where it makes it look like everybody's getting in on the action, but there's nothing really more than that. And so for me, it kind of fits into a very crowded genre on a platform with numerous movies just like it. It's elevated just a notch by the performances. I think Jurnee's great, Allison's fantastic, Logan Marshall Green, poorly written character, but he always gives a good performance. Unfortunately, the movie doesn't really have anything else going for it. There's a subplot with this sheriff played by Matt Craven who does a nice job, but you don't really go to that side of the story unless it's either convenient for the movie because it needs something to cut away for, or we need an explanation for what is happening. And you have this big, crazy, secretive side of things that's just kind of spilled to us, and everything felt convenient about this movie, and I was kind of rolling my eyes a few times in the third act, and it's so prolonged. I felt like they could have wrapped it all up so much quicker than they actually did. I do like the fact that we're able to see the fallout of these events. Otherwise, I just wasn't that invested in this movie. The further we got, the more I was kind of like, okay, well, I've seen it before. Before I give you my score, let me know down below, did you enjoy this movie? Did it work for you? And if you enjoyed this video and you want to drop a like, that would be cool. It helps out this channel. It's a film that relies on the great performances to carry an otherwise lackluster experience. The story is filled with too many conveniences and predictable moments, but we did end up being, I think, better than I thought it would be because of the types of films that we've seen like this on the platform. My score, though, is a 51%. It's one of those films that you could watch, have a good time with, but you're not really going to remember a day or two after you watch it, unfortunately. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I'll be back later today with another Netflix review.